Welcome back, wonderful listeners. In part 1, we talk about why learning feels hardest right before it works. In part 2, we go farther into anxiety, culture, exams, and the ethical responsibility educators carry when learners are overwhelmed but silent. This episode asks a difficult question. Are we teaching language or testing endurance? So, as I always say, sit down comfortably, get yourself a coffee, and let's get started. Exactly. And here, having the three of them, which one most of the language courses are actually overload in one of them. Which one do you think is
External,
the external one? But
external,
what
but
what
this is it's easy because it's easy to call to call this one unnecessary, I guess, because it doesn't have to do with your internal struggle. It has to do with whether a task is poorly designed, whether the quality of the speaker, whether you can't understand someone or you're having a hard time decoding somebody's accent.
yeah.
And if we're
So,
talking about learning your tasks as an educator, are you designing your tasks to be easily understood? Is the challenge relevant to the cognitive process, or are you just making it more difficult for the sake of it? Instruction needs to be um what's the word I'm looking for? It needs to be intentional. Design needs to be intentional. Do like for example, making a multiple selection test have funny answers just to distract them, it's not intentional.
exactly. Good point. Thank you for saying it. Exactly. That's another point that we gotta actually keep in mind. True. And that one actually goes to the level of difficulty or to the level of being like a clown there, a joke. I think people
Mm,
sometimes they don't actually just take the job seriously. And I've seen actually some exams that are exactly the example that you just said now.
yeah, you're talking about a multiple selection test, and it says like,
Yeah.
okay, so give me some colors. Can you name which one is not a color? And it says banana. I don't know, something that it's just to make someone laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does not happen in academic exams. Like for example, with my student, I'm showing her how to decode the psychology behind answering IELTS reading test because that's not her forte. And I have told her, okay, we know skimming, we know scanning, we know how to make a summary. Now you need to take a look at the quest, sorry, the answers, and then choose which one immediately doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
IELTS is not going to give you one of those funny answers, but they will give you one that where the information is not there or there's no connection.
Yeah.
So that's because it's intentional. It's a distraction, but it's a much planned intentional design in the test.
Yes. Well, and this one is another one with the IELTS and the TOEFL. So do you have any other example about what about these exams? You said that you're preparing someone right now for IELTS, right?
Mm.
Do you see something related to this cognitive overload into this student that you have now that
Oh,
you're
actually,
preparing?
yeah, that she's a very good case scenario, I guess, case study for this topic. Because again, her issue is her vocabulary is astonishingly good. I
Yeah.
am in, I am impressed. I am absolutely impressed. And she's old school, like she recites words.
Ooh.
She says like she every at the end of the week she recites words in English. Anyways, I tell her that because she's shy and she's under a lot of pressure, I try to help her with getting rid of all the distractions. So I tell her, okay, go through the questions, look for the ones that make no sense, look for the one that makes sense, and then try to find the evidence. Most likely, the evidence in an IELTS test is not going to be verbatim. It's not going to be word by word, copy and paste.
Yeah.
What they will do is they will paraphrase or give you the contrary idea so that you can infer that information. We actually did talk about infer and imply today. So that helps her to understand it a little bit better.
That's a good point now that you just say that. So vocabulary without context increases that load, right?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Because sometimes you can get stuff out of context, but if no, it's exactly what you said. Yeah,
And what about the
it adds to
grammar?
the stress. What about it?
What about the grammar? Grammar explanations in L1 can spike the external load.
It depends on the person. If you
The
have
person, you mean the
the
student or the teacher?
both, actually, both, because that's the thing. One thing that surprises me is that Chinese people or Chinese English learners, they like rules. They like understanding rules, which is horrible for an English teacher because English follows very few rules. It's not set in stone. There's always an exception.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult to make that connection, you know? It depends on the person. If you're a learner that has the metacognitive skills to make sense of a rule, and then maybe seeing it from the perspective of your language, your L1, then you can decode everything. You can do everything. I'll give you an example from my perspective as a Chinese learner. I am trying to learn Chinese. As I mentioned before, a coworker is helping me. Shout outs to her. I will make sure that she can listen to her this podcast. She has really helped me a lot.
Cool.
But when we were going through connectors, and she taught me how to say because in Chinese. But I was surprised that she would start the sentence with because and then blah 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 blah. But I was like, okay, but in English you can change the order of the sentence and use because or so. And she was like, no, you need to start with because. 因为. And
In a way, yeah.
I I was like, oh, this is gonna ruin me when I'm speaking Chinese. Because both in Spanish and in English, except for a couple of situations, you would not start the sentence with because. You would put that in the middle. For the most part,
Yes.
you would put that in the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
So,
'Cause
but as she was teaching me this,
yeah.
I went like this, oh, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I am. It's just that I just decoded this grammar rule and I know it's gonna mess me up when I'm speaking. And she was
I
like, "Oh,
can
okay."
I can imagine. I can imagine her face in that moment. It's like, are you okay?
Yeah, she thought I
Oh
was having an
man.
aneurysm or something, but it was just me understanding the landmine that I will be careful with when I'm speaking in Chinese.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that's the other part, the grammar part, the vocabulary part as a part of the cognitive load, the struggle and the harmful overload. When
Yeah,
struggle
yeah.
helps learning and when struggle blocks learning. Hmm.
We,
Desirable.
yeah, you know what? Now that we've talked about it for a while, I can see how stress can be, or cognitive load can be a bit beneficial, but it is up to us educators to make sure that learners are able to deal with this stress and to understand that it's part of learning.
So here, this is a question that I wanted to ask you from the beginning. How do learners know they're in the good struggle zone?
They don't. They don't. They will never know unless we guide them. I don't think they will. I think the eureka moment is it because you and I, we know what happens behind the stage. We know how you and I, with experience, and any educator, after going through these trials in which we understand the theory seen in practice,
Yeah.
you start to understand what's going on in their brain as you're talking. You can see it in their faces. So we know which part is going to be difficult and we can anticipate and make plans for that. But learners, I don't think they can see when exactly they're going through their worst cognitive load.
Hmm. Interesting. Yes. And what are the warning signs of cognitive overload? What you as a teacher can identify in your students? Do you see it?
You
Those
can
kind of
see it, but it's not always there because everybody's different. Everybody's different. Once again, we need to talk about the idiosyncrasies of our learners. Everybody's different. Some of them you can see it in their faces. Some of them will raise their hands. Some of them will be just mouth open, not figuring it out. And that's when you got to take a step back, try another strategy, try another learning strategy, bring out the puppets, you know, bring out the puppets and give them examples. Examples are great, but it depends on your students. I'll
That's
never
true.
forget, I'm sorry, I'll never forget. I was teaching adults way back in the days when I was like almost fresh out of college. And I was teaching for it was an institute. Basically,
Yeah.
they gave English courses to people who were already working, and I had a 65-year-old student.
Ooh, no way. Ooh. And
And she tried her best. They have this motivation because they know what the goal is. But I remember she would be like this, mouth open,
yeah.
mouth open, frowning. And that was my cue to try again. So I would stop my class and be like, Norita, do you have any questions? I would call her Norita even though she was older than me because I loved her, you know? So it was like,
Yeah.
Norita, do you have any questions? Yes, I don't understand anything. Okay, let's try again. And you have to be kind. You have to be kind because they are just not getting it and you got to read that. You got to be able to read the room.
Yeah. I like it. I like that one. So in this case, shorter sessions or longer sessions are better for this type of to avoid this type of cognitive overload. Like for example, with your student, Norita, Norita,
Norita.
Norita.
Mm. Uh, it depends. It depends on your learner. Well, like you mentioned, Nora, adults have more capacity to be able to perform for longer. If we're talking about speaking, they're also able to retain more information. If we were talking about a student, a young student, then we would most likely have to segment those learning steps mixed in with a couple of games, something to get the brain percolating. And
Hmm.
remember that they have uh, shorter attention span. That's
Ooh,
also
that's
very
another one.
important.
Yes, that's
Because
another very
at the
important
end, like
point here.
remember when we talked about it almost at the beginning of the episode, we talked about it in external factors to this cognitive load. That would be a mistake. If we take the same lesson that I'm teaching Norita, my 65-year-old student, and then I try to apply it to a 5-year-old student, that is going to give him an extra cognitive load because you expect him to have this attention span that Nora has, and then they just cannot function. So because my activity and my lesson is poorly planned, not intentionally planned, then I'm giving them an extra cognitive load, an extra stress.
True. That's a one. That's a good one. Now, talking a little bit about those experiences that you've had, Norita having the first one, a really funny one. So, why less explanation often leads to more acquisition?
Oh, I haven't said that. Where'd that come from?
I ask you, why less explanation often leads to more acquisition? When we talk about this cognitive overload, sometimes when you give less explanation, mm, leads to more understanding. When you don't make it that hard or complicated.
But those are two different things. Not explaining does not necessarily mean easier or harder. What we as educators are supposed to do is to fish for their previous knowledge and see if they can
Mhm.
get it from context before we step in and we give them the uh sorry, what am I trying to say here? See, this is cognitive load right now happening right now because I'm trying to recall the I mean it, this is happening.
in the
Explicit
making.
instruction.
All
Yeah,
right.
well, I actually it's one of the examples. I when you're supposed to get their experiences and see if they can infer the information without you being explicit.
Mhm.
Explicit instruction is viable, but it's not ideal because the more you learn it by yourself, the more valuable it means. This has been proven.
True. Well, that was the point actually of my question there. You just
Cool.
nailed it. Man, you are a master.
Ooh,
You
thank you.
are a real master.
Let me brush off that dust. I've been reading a lot, man. The
Wow,
Connie,
man.
my wife gave me a book for Christmas for me to
Yeah,
read because I just don't read novels, but everything I've been reading it has been papers, research papers, essays. So I'm happy that I can put that into practice,
that's
with
really
you.
good, man. Man, I'm really happy with this one, man. Very good. I mean, I like the answer of that one. Actually, every time I actually ask you a question, I am like, okay, let's see if I can take him to this point. Man, pretty amazing. Really amazing. I like it. You
I
really
hope
are
people
a pretty
can
knowledgeable
listen to
person.
this. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think theory and practice, they go hand in hand in teaching. I think it's nice to learn about theories. We also need to be careful with what is feasible and what is not recommendable in certain areas.
And before we continue, I want to give a quick shout out to FrameFlow, the creative studio behind our new podcast cover. They specialize in premium cinematic quality video production, editing, and graphic design, and they're based in Nanning, China. If you're a content creator or personal brand looking to level up your visuals, you can book your first project and contact them directly via WeChat or WhatsApp. Learn more at frameflowcn.com.
But it should be they should go together, theory and practice. So this is why I wanted to say that I'm so thankful to be here because again, for a lot of teachers, maybe they may not know everything by the names of the theories, but you have seen it in classes. You
Yeah,
have seen it, you have lived it, and you know why things happen. So this is a good balance, being able to bring theory into practice.
that's true. That's true. And let's just have the final part of this amazing episode. Just put them into IELTS and TOEFL perspective. Why exam feels harder than real communication?
Cognitive load, first of all,
Yeah, yes.
but also relevance. Real life communication is, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's more meaningful precisely because it's something that happens to you in your everyday life. I have seen, by the way, I have seen now that I work in an office with people who are doing a job and I am teaching them English,
Hmm.
precisely business English. I have seen how their English has improved tremendously because what I am teaching, which is the course that I designed, is precisely what they use every day. So when we talked about relevance and frequency, these two factors have helped them increase their English tremendously. Please repeat the question again because this point is connected to that.
Why exams feel harder than real
Right.
communication?
Thank you. Thank you for repeating. So that is connected to the idea that exams, you are being tested on every possible situation that could
Hmm.
happen to you in another language, but unfortunately, it's not relevant. It's not necessarily planned for
True.
you. Let's also talk about tests in general. They are not there's no differentiation. So it's unfortunate because someone might be able to tell you what a solar system is by drawing it. Another one might tell you in the form of a song. Uh, so differentiation is another added factor to stress.
True. And that's the point. And I think most of these exams are more like time pressure, which actually triggers this cognitive overload again, talking about it.
Very good
And
point.
anxiety, how it hijacks working memory as well, because that's actually part of it,
Especially
the
especially reading
anxiety.
tests.
Mm,
The
yeah.
what you mentioned, people who have problems reading in their mother tongue, that also
Mhm.
translates to L2. And what I look, I'm going to be honest, that was another article, another essay that I read, but I skimmed it. And they also mentioned that giving learners extra time when they already have L1 problems in reading helps them to perform better in their L2.
Yes, and I also read something about it in the book that I actually sent you today. It also shows something related to this. It's really interesting actually to know a little bit about that. So to wrap up now, what would you say about this cognitive overload and all what we have
Mm,
done? How would you s sum up all this, your perspective?
well, first of all, it's something that is present in both everyday communication, but it's also present in tests primarily. Uh, and as educators, we are supposed to understand this and anticipate this. By this, I mean understand that learners have their idiosyncrasies. They might have their experiences at home or with previous teachers. They might see a situation more stressful than it is. It is your job to disarm that situation. If you see that everybody is very stressed out, lower the stakes. Make it look like it's not as important as they see it, because that adds an external factor. Um, Unfortunately, there are many cases on why a person would perform poorly in a test. So it is important for us to disarm that situation whenever we can. And on the
Yeah.
side of a learner, if you are learning a language and you suffer this problem very often, I would argue that even though it might be stressful, part of it leads to learning. Those situations in which you're really struggling, but you finally find an answer, those eureka moments that we mentioned during the episode, treasure those. And if you want to go a step further, analyze what happened in your brain while you were trying to decode this message. Because that metacognitive skill that you applied will help you in the future, will help you in context where you're not sure what they said, but you can understand it by context. Those things will can make this obstacle into a valuable learning lesson, I guess.
Definitely. You said it. That's dropping the mic there. That was a perfect one. Exactly.
I
So
can't
if
drop
your
mine.
brain, so if your brain feels tired, I think that's good. Maybe it means something real is happening, right? Respect the load and don't fear it, I would say. So
But
this
also,
has
I would also argue that you should also be careful with the external factors. If you're, for example, you cannot be expected to perform well in a test if you haven't had 7 hours of sleep or 8 hours of sleep. Understand that your brain needs to function properly for you to perform the way that that will represent you in a test, or in a meeting or whatever.
exactly. Yes,
Hmm.
sleeping is another factor there. Glad you brought it. Yeah,
It's a big one.
we actually skipped that part actually, huh? We didn't talk about the sleeping part. Yeah. That's actually very, very important. Resting well before an exam or having the 7 hours rest, 7 hours sleep, that's pretty good. That will actually
That's what I
make you
mean
feel
by
more
the
awake.
idiosyncrasies of learners. What they
Hmm.
bring to the classroom, those external factors. They could have had a fight with their parents right before school, and they do not come primed for learning.
Yes, you got it there. All right. So I think we just got to the end of this amazing episode. Thank you very much, James
Ooh,
Renzo,
I
for being here. It's been amazing. You just share a lot of important things. I think I'm gonna have to listen to this episode again. Try to suck it up as much as I can.
that's fine. I'm very happy to be here. I truly hope that educators can engage in the comments and talk to you and message you and uh You know, give us your situations. Tell us about your stories where you've had this kind of issue because the more we talk about it, the more we discuss it, the more we can implement it into our classes.
True. That's now that you said that, can you just share your social media, where people can find you? Somebody was like, "Hey,
Oh,
this guy is this is the real master. This is the
oh,
teacher that I was looking for." Where can they find you?
uh, I am on Instagram, although I'm not sure if I have my profile on private or not. It is Disaster EXE. It's always been Disaster EXE, by the way. It's been like more than 20 years of having that
That sounds
username.
like a good teacher.
Disaster EXE. Well, actually, I used to go live on Twitch, and I am planning on going back as soon as I finish my degree, my program. Um, that's also on Twitch. It's Disaster EXE. Uh,
Good.
I had wonderful learning moments in that channel too.
And what about the LinkedIn? You don't have LinkedIn profile?
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. Right. So I do have LinkedIn. It's Renzo Perucca. It's just my name.
Yeah.
Uh, and because I am now working as a salesman for a freight forwarding company, and once again, I do get to teach, so that's wonderful. But I have been posting a lot more posts about shipping, logistics, ports,
Yeah.
global trade, which is it's honestly it is fascinating. But I have found a myriad of people who post the most inane, the most insignificant thing, and they blow it up into this like almost a TED talk about how they overcame something. People just don't do things. They overcome obstacles and then they have learning opportunities and they talk. Look, I have to be honest, I like to celebrate achievements and growth,
Yes. Yes.
but we need to not be like this. Not everything is. It feels like okay. So I'm gonna mention a little bit about Chilean culture. For those who are not Chilean, Chileans don't just buy a car. They make a post on Instagram or Facebook about how we have a new member of the family with a name. They will name their cars. This is the same thing applied to LinkedIn.
Oh
They
man.
just like blow it up out of proportions, and I'm not here for it. I like to connect with people, but I just like to be straightforward and be like, okay, this is what's happening. Even if I'm celebrating something that I did, which I will, I will celebrate when I finish my program, but I'm not going to be like, yes, now that I have overcome this learning process, new opportunities will arise. No, I just don't want to give you BS.
Yeah, no, you know what? I feel you. I feel you. I have LinkedIn profile, but I have it because of the podcast, so I got to expand
Mm,
it and make more people to listen to it. There's a lot of educators there as well. So I've seen it, and yes, it happened. I don't like those type of actually posts at all. So I just try to avoid overreading. What I just do is just post, 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 post. But I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of a showing off actually whatever happens in your life. The same situation I've actually seen it on Instagram, for example. I actually see people just sitting down on their toilets. I was like, oh, here in the toilet. And then a few seconds later, oh, I'm gonna get my first meal. And I was like, oh, right now walking to the park. I don't know. I think
That
it's
I'm okay with that.
disturbing. It's
I'm
very
okay with the
disturbing.
mundane part of life. I'm okay with the mundane part. I wanna see what you're eating. I wanna see what you're doing. It's fine. I just don't like it when people I don't know. I don't advocate for people to be humble, but also don't blow things out of proportion. And let me tell you, I
Yes,
don't the reason when we talked about language ego and being shy and everything, I believe you really should celebrate your achievements. You really should. But
definitely.
also
Control.
don't, yeah, yes, control. Thank you, thank you,
Control.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
No,
find
no.
a way to make this nice and
I
safe.
actually don't like it. That's why I don't like to be so much on social media. My Instagram profile is totally locked. The only one that I have open is the one for the podcast because I actually
Mm,
want to be surrounded only by people that I know, not people I don't know.
mm,
So simple as that.
that makes sense.
And sometimes actually people just overpost, and I hate the overposting. I hate overpostings everywhere
Mm,
throughout all the platforms. I think it's becoming too useless. That's where
I
it
used to
comes
hate
the
oversharing.
That actually takes us to the instant gratification, man. And this is one of
Mm.
the other aspects that I don't like. I'm pretty bad actually at it. When I post something like the ones that you've seen it, I think you were teasing me about the one for the gym. So that's the other
Which one?
one. Uh,
Ah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the gym. So it
Yeah,
was
you
pretty
go
funny.
hard on those gym videos. But
And
again, like I don't want to put you down because you're proud of what you've done at the gym. But some of those do read like a LinkedIn post, man.
you know, those videos that I made, actually, I don't make them actually just to go over there and show off how much I've actually done or
Of
how
course
much I
not.
want you to learn. But it's actually just I like the music that I can play there while I'm working out, and fair enough. But I'm not bothering anybody to send it privately to people, Hey, take a look at what I'm doing here, I'm not good at
It's
that.
okay because that they people also put them as like your milestones. You know, you make videos to show how you used to be, and that's respectable.
Yeah,
Um, and again, people are different. We all have
it's
different
true.
ways to connect with social media. Like I've said before, I used to hate oversharing. I used to hate to see what people were doing because I was living in their country. But as I am right now, thousands of miles away, I actually do want to see what people are eating in Chile. I do want to see people that are happy. I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. Uh,
Yeah,
but also I have come to the understanding that I don't need to be chronically online. I wanted to mention this. I am doing every Sunday as of right now. I should be off social media from 10 p.m. on Saturday to 10 a.m. 10 p.m. Sunday. I'm not
it's
going online. I cannot use my phone. I have CDs. I have video game consoles. I have a computer if I have to work or study, but I'm not using my phone.
perfect. That sounds like a really good something good, something positive actually to share to the audience as well, because most of the people that actually listen to us, they for sure with the phone every 5 seconds. So that's a good one. Good
We
example
all do
there.
it. We all do it, but just come to the understanding that you don't need to be available 24/7. Not everybody needs to know what you're doing. You don't need to know
True,
what people are doing 24/7. And if you
true.
have a lot of apps, let's be honest. I mean, like for example, I depend on Spotify because I love music. I cannot live without music, but I don't want to rely on my phone for everything. So I have a collection of CDs that I've bought from Japan, and I told my sister to bring me some from Chile. And I have a CD player, so I just listen to music there, you know?
Amazing. Love it. That's a good one, man.
Decentralize phones.
Totally
Reject
against
convenience. Look that up. Reject
against the
convenience.
system. Yes, against the system. I
Small
am
step.
part of the system, but I don't want to be part of it.
It
So,
sucks, right? You
well,
know
I
what?
think
I'm a social person, but I want to get a bunker.
I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have in this decade. Yeah,
Hmm.
too much things going on outside that we just don't want to even hear about it. So much overloading, cognitive overload and
Absolutely.
overload
It
of
adds to it.
everything. It's too much everywhere.
We got to fight our battles, man. We got to fight our battles. See where you can get a little victory. For me, it's being offline for 24 hours, and that's it.
That's a good one. I'll try
Mm.
to follow that example. Hopefully some of the listeners here just would like to join the movement. This is the Renzo's movement. Everybody,
No,
come
no, no,
on.
no, no. Don't make it a me thing. That the thing about that being healthy and being happy with yourself, it's that it's customizable. When I tried that, by the way, I I watched a video and I told my wife, "Hey, maybe we should try some of these. Try some of these habits, new habits." One of them was like reading for 30 minutes. My wife, she can devour books. She will read like 100 books. I'm not even joking in like 2 months. No, no, I am joking. That's a lot. But uh but I don't.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't. And now what I'm doing, I'm reading 30 minutes during my lunch break and it's amazing. It's
that's
something that I
perfect.
can do. I'm not going to take cold showers. That's another one that they suggested. I'm just not going to do that. It's just
I do it.
not a good
You
idea.
should. You should. I'm doing it
Brother, how
here
are
and
you
here.
gonna take
Negative 20
you
right
don't
now.
get to take
Negative
cold
20.
showers. You live in the north. Every day is a cold shower for you. You don't
Yeah,
even need
yeah.
that.
I do the cold shower and then the hot shower, and then I just go outside. It's negative 20. Really nice. Good temperature. It's
Sweet
just another
fancy
winter.
Moses. Right. I am trying to meditate, not for any like yoga or trying to achieve anything, but rather clear out my mind. I am stretching every morning. That also works a lot because I do spend a lot of time on the computer.
Yeah, actually, it really helps. That's why I go to the gym. Gym
Mm.
is like the new church. So it's really good,
Oh,
actually. Yes.
I am agnostic, so
Got it. Okay. That's pretty
the
good
gym
then.
for me, it's a good way to do. I do have a like an exercise plan, but I do have to ride my bike there, so it's a little bit inconvenient sometimes.
Mm, got it. Well, man, what can I say? Thank you very much again. Let's see if we can actually get to another episode some other time. We are in the season 5 right
Absolutely.
now. Can you imagine? You join us in one of the episodes in season 3, I think it was, or season 2. Oh,
Was that in
gee.
September? September
Season
might have been.
3. A little bit, no. It was July somewhere around.
Ah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere around.
I am
Maybe
really
because
hoping that listeners can send us their stories. I would really like to hear about people's story. Despite being disconnected, I do want to hear about people's experiences with what we've talked about today.
I would love to. I would love it
Mm,
to. Let's see what happened. Let's stay in touch. Let's stay connected. And thank
for
you again
sure.
for being here. Don't get
Thank you for
lost.
having me.
Don't get lost.
I I won't. You know where to find me.
Thank you, man. We're talking next
Thank
time.
you, everyone.
Learning is not performance. It's a process that needs safety, relevance, and time. If this conversation challenged you, that's a good sign. Reflection is where better teaching begins. Until next time, keep learning with intention, teaching with empathy, and questioning systems that confuse pressure with progress.